Jen meets Selena before she's born, and I go to the Dominican Republic to reconnect with my masculine ancestry. That's what we're going to talk about on this week's episode. The some magical moments that happened on our journey.
Yeah. So where do we start?
Are we going to bring up last night's conversation, by the way? Let's see if that comes up. Deep conversation last night.
Very deep.
About the marriage and who created it, what's it for, why is it so limited?
Why does it feel limited?
Why does it feel that way?
Why do we have these constructs in our mind about marriage limiting our freedom?
Yeah. We might get into that.
Okay.
Where do you want to start?
I think you should give some context around like your relationship with your dad.
Okay.
And why it was a big deal at that time, to travel to the Dominican Republic with your 3 boys to go see your dad.
Everything in your life is a reflection of the energy and the frequency that you live in and your deepest thoughts, feelings, and emotions. The money that you earn, the impact that you're able to have, the relationship that you're in, and even your health, everything, all of your life is directly connected to the relationship that you had with your parents and the relationship that you continue to have with your parents. Your parents could be the ones that taught you guilt. Your parents could be the ones that taught you that love equals pain. Your parents could be the ones that taught you manipulation. Your parents could be the ones that inadvertently or purposefully, through their own pain and trauma, cause your throat chakra to close, cause your heart chakra to close. Because when you were a child, you were just love. And all you were looking for and all you continue to look for is just love.
So what did your parents teach you?
Damn. Well, my mother taught me kindness, taught me honor, taught me truth, taught me doing what's right. Taught me, I just keep picturing us dancing salsa. Yeah, my mother was a powerful woman. If you ever met Cruz Rodriguez, and maybe you're from the real estate world, she was what we call a transaction coordinator and my assistant. And so my mom was this little, I think 4'10" woman, but she was a powerhouse. Like we were a tag team before she got sick. I would bring in the deals and she would like close them up. And, she was organized and she was a wonderful typer. And she had beautiful penmanship. And yet she also, in hindsight, showed me, I think, deep inner disconnection from herself, from her truth, from her voice. I think she taught me what it feels like to know that someone loves you, but to like not feel it and hear it. And so, my mom, because of her trauma, because of my mom's mom not being around, my mom taught me essentially, that how do I say this? Yeah, that love is like disconnected. And so I spent most of my life looking for love, in power, in success, in fame, in being the nice guy, in wanting to be appreciated, liked, and validated. Because I was always looking for love out there.
How do you feel like that showed up in your like previous relationship then?
It showed up in my previous relationship. I'm going to say something. I'm going to say today I had a session with one of our inner circle members. She's going through a tough process. I'm helping both the husband and the wife, and I'm helping them together, and then I'm helping them, separately. They're going through a separation, which I believe could end up in a divorce. And I can see very clearly that what brought them together was their woundings and their trauma.
Mm-hmm.
I can actually see that she is his father. When she's in her energy, she becomes his father, the, emotionally and mentally like manipulative energy that he learned from his father. But I could also see, I saw it clearly today, that he is her father because he controls her and manipulates her with money.
Mm-hmm.
Why am I bringing this up? I'm bringing this up because I had a conversation with her today and she's sitting here crying. And I obviously feel for her, but my focus is to help people come back here to their truth. And she's sitting here crying. And I said, tell me this. From a 0 to 10, how would you rate the love that you feel from your husband right now? And she says, a 3. And I go, stop right there. I said, if your daughter was in a relationship and you asked her to rate the love that she feels from her husband and she gave you a 3, how would you feel? She says, I would feel sad. I go, that's how God feels. Because God, the angels, source, infinite love, doesn't want us to experience anything outside of profound, deep happiness, abundance, bliss, and joy, because that's what we are. We just forgot when we came here into this experience, and we forgot on purpose to help us go through what we need to go through so that we can then open and awaken and heal and transcend our souls eventually into spiritual enlightenment. So then she starts telling me, and I start saying, listen, I said, I want you to realize that you are crying to be taken back by someone that manipulates you financially. And she's trying to tell me the stories. And I go, I don't even want to hear the stories because it's disgusting. Like, I could never do that to a woman. Like, I could never do what you're saying. And by the way, I'm not making him the bad guy. Because what you don't realize is you are in a frequency where you think that that is love. And you're here crying, waiting for him to take you back. Is that love? And she goes, wait a minute. And I said, do you mean, she goes to me, so she got defensive. She goes, wait a minute. So do you mean to tell me then that 95% of all human beings then are not in love? 95% of all marriages are not in love? And I said, yes, that's what I'm telling you. Because that's the truth. Because the truth is that you cannot be in love, in the frequency of love with another human being if you first don't find love in yourself and with yourself. And she finally came to that realization. I finally had to tell her, listen, start honoring yourself. You're not honoring yourself. Your heart and soul knows this is not what you want, but the fear inside of you is telling you that you want it. That's not love, that's fear. How did it show up for me? Number one, I got into relationship with someone that from the very beginning, I knew I was not in love with. I knew I wasn't at peace with. I knew I wasn't happy with. I knew I wasn't comfortable with. I knew I couldn't share my truth with. I knew that. I knew that from the very beginning, and I did it anyways. Why? Because I was disconnected from the frequency of love. Therefore, I didn't know what love was. Therefore, I found the exact person, relationship that my soul needed to help me come face to face with the truth and help me unravel all of it to find love. I didn't speak my truth the same way that my mom didn't speak her truth. I didn't honor my truth the same way that she didn't. And you know this now because to this day we have conversations, and everything that I think marriage is or a relationship is was essentially developed by two forces. Number one, religion. There is deep, deep energetic attachments when it comes to religion and marriage, and all of it is undergirthed by the frequency of fear. Because in religion, it's like you're given a sentence, like you get married, that's it. Time out. Who says that's it?
What does that it even mean?
That's it. You're stuck. Baby, you know how deep it was? I used to literally, this is how deep it was. I used to literally think to myself, 9 years in, whatever, the only way one of us is getting out of it is if
one of us dies.
I die or she dies.
In my last relationship, I used to have those like really scary thoughts where you're like, I physically can't leave. So like one of us is going to have to kick the bucket.
Right? No. What if you just have the balls to say what you're feeling?
Yeah,
that's an option.
It's so crazy how the mind works.
It's so crazy. Well, think about this. I know you don't know this, guys. When I tell her about like Christians and Jesus and what they believe, you're literally like dumbfounded that human beings could believe all of this stuff.
I'm dumbfounded by the lack of questioning. That's what dumbfounds me, because I feel like when someone gives me something that's supposedly truth, I always question it. I'm like, I have to get to the bottom of like, how does that sit in me? And is that truth? Can I see that? And with what you tell me about what
Christians,
some Christians, I don't know how it works, but like Christians believe,
the whole thing, yeah,
is like, but how could questioning be a sin? Or like, how could...
They don't question anything. That's how deep the program is.
Yeah, that's what I find like dumbfounding. If you
question it, you're the devil.
A sinner, yeah.
You're a sinner. It is only one way and one thing, and everyone else is right. And by the way, everyone else is going to hell.
Mm-hmm.
So just think. By the way, I was the king. I was the king Christian.
Mm-hmm.
So think about that energy and think about marriage. And now you understand a lot of the dynamics
of like what you were going through last night.
That's right. We may get to that a little bit later. So then my dad.
Right.
Very long-winded answer. I am aware.
I thought that you were going to complete why I giggled when you then went, so how did that show up for me? I thought you were like trying to like divert away from the question.
Oh no, I went fucking in. Well, it's important. And by the way, I know some of you are having very scary moments right now listening to this because you're realizing, oh my God, that's me.
Mm-hmm.
And that's finding the one.
Mm-hmm.
That's what we're here to do, right? So then my dad taught me how not to be a man. My dad, because no one taught him.
Mm-hmm.
My dad taught me unavailability. My dad taught me essentially, I'm going to say this, I love him, but cowardness.
Mm.
He's afraid. He taught me to be afraid of who you are, of your truth, and of your responsibilities, which was a deep wound in my masculine. Very, very, very deep. And so when I came into relationship and I obviously went through the divorce and I went through all of that, on my healing journey, I start doing all this spiritual work. In true Danny Morel fashion, I started hosting events and I started hosting seminars and doing everything. I mean, I never got a certificate. I just do what I do. This is what I'm here to do. In that process, I'm leading this breath work. And there's 800 people, the most beautiful thing you could see, literally self-actualizing, literally returning to the one in their heart. The most beautiful, that it's gorgeous. And clear as day, God tells me, audibly, audibly, you're never going to help them be all they can be until you become all that you can be. And my ego responds, yeah, but look at me. I just started. I'm holding the biggest breathworks in the world. What are you talking about? It's time to forgive your father. And immediately I was like, nope. I'm not doing that.
Fuck that.
Fuck that. You don't know what he did. You don't know what that. No, you don't know. You don't remember the.
As if God in the universe cares.
Exactly. I literally.
You don't understand.
Yeah. I literally start having this debate, this argument, and by then I had already done the medicine, so my heart was already open. So little by little, within weeks, I was like, "Fuck." There's no way, because you start to see the end. You start to see the end game, and you're like, okay, I get it now. There is no way that I can heal the parts of me that I need to heal to help them in my purpose heal the parts of them that I need to heal. And by the way, there's no way I will ever be, or you will ever be, in a loving relationship with another human being that is founded in love, not in fear, not in attachment, but in love, unless you heal your masculine and feminine energy, which is essentially your relationship with your mother and your father. Period. End of story. So this is why human beings are out there and they're unhappy in relationship, because they don't realize they're unhappy in themselves. So I knew what I had to do. And what I did was I ran an ad on Instagram. I first start talking to my dad again. He starts calling me out of the blue, and then I thought, no, this is not enough. Like, I need to know where I come from. So I ran an ad on Instagram, true story. I invested $10 or whatever. And I ran an ad in the Dominican Republic in this certain town. And I was like, I'm a speaker. Like, where did this come from? Where, like, the way that I think, my dad doesn't think like me at all.
Yeah.
My dad, literally, you met him, will not let me pay for a car. He'll take the bus because do not spend money.
Yeah. Well, the interesting thing as well is he didn't when he met us. But I've heard him on the phone with you. He has a stutter.
Yeah.
So it's quite literally like the opposite of you.
The opposite of me.
Yeah.
Which broke my heart when I realized that, because it made me think, who could my dad have become if he had his dad? But then I thought, I wouldn't have become. So it's all perfect.
It's perfect.
It's all perfect, right? So to make a long story short, I run this ad. I find my family in the Dominican Republic.
Such a cool story.
Within 2 hours. Remember, we were talking by then. They were like, yeah, I know that family. And next thing you know, I have this massive family in the Dominican Republic. We start talking and texting back and forth. And I make plans to meet them. And my father had never met them. So for me, it was like, it's not only for me and for my boys, it has to be for my father as well. That's the only way we heal the frequency, the energy. And sure enough, we all met, and it was beautiful. Yeah, it was really beautiful.
And how did you find it being there with him and with your boys?
I found it wonderful. But I found it uncomfortable. Because at that time, there was still this thing in me that maybe you're only uncomfortable with whatever you don't accept. Like, once you accept something, then there's nothing outside of you can make you uncomfortable.
I like that.
Yeah?
Yeah.
That was a good one.
That was a very good one.
And so I think that there was still a part of me that didn't accept that he didn't know or doesn't know or will ever know how to be a father to me. But if I'm honest, back then, and we're talking a year and a half ago, like, I wasn't that comfortable in my fatherhood with my boys either. There was still this energy with my ex. There was just, it's an energy. Yeah.
Well, sorry to interrupt. There was like a really big realization moment where I think we were talking about a very specific situation that was like you giving advice to your boys on something, or you parenting your boys about something. And you said to me, like, Jen, I don't think you realize it doesn't come naturally to me because I didn't have a dad. So I'm like making up how to be a dad. And in that moment, I was like, shit. Like I have so much like love and grace for that because you don't have anyone to role model off. I think I take for granted that like I have two great role models in my life that's like, I know what a healthy dad looks like. I know what a healthy mum looks like. I know what boundaries feel like. I know like, so then I feel readily kind of available to do that to my kid.
That's right.
But there's times when I know like you ask me something and I then remember, oh wait, like he doesn't know this because he doesn't have the experience. Everything that I do with Selena is, comes from intuition, but also comes from role modeling.
That's right. And if you really think about it, from the age of 13, I no longer had a parent.
Yeah.
No one to turn to for business advice, no one to turn to ask a question, no one to turn to ask a question about, am I picking the right partner or not? No one to turn to it was just me.
I mean, I called my dad this morning because I still can't do my taxes on my own, which is mortifying. But it's like, I'm so grateful to have him in my life to just be like, okay, what do I reply to this email? What do I need to do? Because it's rough. Like just living life in like our government, our society, it's confusing. So to do that alone is... And then to raise children when you don't feel raised yourself.
It's been a wild process.
Yeah.
A beautiful process.
Yeah.
Though. Like I'm literally in the process right now of finding myself as a dad.
Mm-hmm.
Now, my kids have, the support that I'm talking in the energetic.
Yeah, no, exactly.
And so
but I think that's a really good point. Like let's go deep into that because you can provide everything. So the boys have everything that they need. The school, the clothes, the 2 wonderful households, like, everything on the outside. But it's like energetically, who do you need to be in this person's life? You
know what the father is? The father is there to provide the guidance. That's what the father is there for. The father is there to provide the guidance and direction for the child. It's so interesting because as this is coming up for me, I realize that I do this a lot in business as well. I'll hire you, for example, but I won't train you because I just expect that you will figure it out. Because no one ever trained me in life. No one ever trained me how to start a business. No one trained me to do shit. I just figured it out.
You do that in relationships too.
I'm sure I do. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you are. I'm the opposite. As I just said, I'm used to having a male figure in my life who like really is.
Oh, your dad is wonderful.
Acts of service is his like love language.
He literally will do anything and everything and anything. And I'm like,
you're like, do it yourself. Like, yeah. And I'm like,
yeah.
How?
Yeah. So with that is that I'm noticing that is the energy with the boys sometimes. And now you obviously know this. I'm like, no. They need me, my guidance. So yeah.
Cool.
So that was a journey. We went to Dominican Republic. I reconnected with my family out there.
And what did you find out about your granddad?
Oh yeah, that my grandfather was actually like a business owner and like a politician.
Yeah, a speaker.
A speaker, yeah. And my great granddad was such an influence in their town. There's like pictures of like thousands of people at his funeral and stuff.
Very
so
cool.
It was just like, that's why I am the way that I am.
Yeah.
It was pretty wild.
Did you feel like it gave you more understanding or kind of like comfort about who you are?
It was kind of like, and this is for all of us. This is my story. Like you have a similar story. It's kind of like the journey of life. What it does is like a massive puzzle, right? And like, I'll tell you what it is. I don't want to get too spiritual here, but
Get spiritual. Why not?
The truth doesn't need to be believed because the truth simply is the truth. Yeah. So what happens spiritually when we follow all of these religions, and whether they call it religion or relationship, if you go to a building once a week, you're in a religion. Make no mistake about it. So what happens is that you are bought into this story that like someone out there is coming to like save you. I'll let you find that one out on your own if that is true or not. But the truth is available to you if you really want it. Your mind, your ego will debate it, fight it, argue it. You call me the devil, you'll unfollow, you'll do what you need to do to protect the story, the paradigm that you're living in. But the truth, it's available there for you. Might be a little scary for you, but you can go into it and you can go find it. It doesn't need to be believed. So what happens in life is all of us, we go through circumstances and situations, right? And like when we are back here, when we're back aligned, when we're no longer masculine, feminine, when we're back at zero, when we're no longer 1 and 2, right? It's actually 1 and 2. The feminine is 1. When we're back here, we re-enter into alignment with Christ consciousness. Christ consciousness is what Jesus came to give us all access to. So that it wasn't just one person, him having Christ consciousness. It was available to everyone. That's why he came. That's why he died the way that he died. It was never that he's coming back. No. It's that he's coming back in you when you get realigned to Christ consciousness, the frequency of it, and you realize that you and he and you and God and you and you and me and you, we're all one. We're all one frequency. Feel if that's true or not. Feel, don't think. Because the preacher does not want you to know that truth. The preacher wants one thing, for you to be dependent upon the preacher. Jesus didn't want you dependent upon him or a church or a building or a preacher. Jesus wanted you to find you so that you can go out and help other people find themselves. That's the journey. There's life right there. Why did I bring that up? It just needed to come out, I guess. But what did you ask me?
I don't know.
Anyhow, part of the realignment was healing the wounds with my mother, ayahuasca.
Oh, I asked if finding out about your great grandfather gave you like a nice feeling.
Yeah. So it was like, think about this. Your whole life, all you know is your dad is this guy that's not available. He doesn't talk like you. He doesn't think like you. He's nothing like you. So you feel like, wait, what? What? And now that was like, it's like, oh, I get it. And I truly believe that process is available for everyone. Whether your parents are here or not, if you're ready, you can go into it. Mm-hmm. You can go revisit the land that you came from. I'm telling you this right now. This is why travel is so important. You can go to the land of your ancestors and energetically, literally, things will start happening in your life because you're back home. Mm-hmm. I get fired up. It's because it angers me, babe. It angers me that like they'll never. It angers me, but at the same time, it's perfect. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, it's time for humanity to wake up because, like,
yeah, I mean that I feel like there's nothing more powerful than that feeling of, oh shit, like no one's coming to save me. It's me. Like I have to save me. I'm coming to save me.
That's right.
Like that's the most empowering realization moment that starts off a whole journey.
And I'm going to tell you what I'm not going to use the word believe. I basically know, and I'm going to sound like a crazy person in saying this. At some point in time, thousands of years ago, I don't know who it was. I don't know if it was the aliens. I don't know who it was, But energetically, and if you've ever journeyed, you'll know, because they'll tell you that they download a chip in you, like to help you to see whatever. I believe, like, for all of humanity, we were given like a little chip to help us to like literally like be like so out of it that we buy into the stuff that religion and politics and everything is teaching us. And that is why I'm so adamant about plant medicine. So we just realized that we are losing battery on an important piece of equipment. So we're going to cut here and go straight to the Q&A for this week.
So my question for you is, how do I rekindle the flame / intimacy when you've been through a power struggle phase?
I think my question for you is, what exactly was the power struggle phase? Because when you are having a power struggle with the human being that is your partner, what is really happening is that there's a part of you that is in power struggle with yourself, with your own thoughts, feelings, emotions, your own ideals about what the relationship is, what your partner is, what you are. And so after the power struggle, if you, number one, listen to them, number two, heard them and made sure that they felt heard, number three, validate them, and vice versa. If the energy has been cleared, where you feel completely heard, the natural outcome of that is more intimacy, because the power struggle is now gone. I have two for you.
Okay.
And this one I feel like I really want you to answer, because earlier today, when I was coaching this lady, I said, imagine if I financially manipulated Jen. What would she do? She would, no, she wouldn't put up with it. And I said, do you envision me ever doing that to her? No, you wouldn't do that. And I go, of course not, because you don't do that to someone that you love, right? So I feel like people have a very difficult time stepping into their truth. So this is one that will help you with this. You ready?
Oh God, yeah.
Here we go. What do you do when your husband has a spiritual connection with another woman? How should you react?
What the fuck does that mean? What does a spiritual connection with another woman mean?
Any connection. Any connection.
What was what would you do?
What do you do when your husband has a connection with another woman?
A spiritual connection with another
woman. A spiritual,
woman.
an energetic, a physical, or whatever connection.
Me personally?
Yes.
No.
No.
I don't know what else to say other than
no.
No. You know, if I were to give like the more spiritual answer, I feel like and this is kind of similar to the conversation we were having last night, which is, if you do feel a connection with another woman and you are honest enough to share that with me, I would be asking you, what is that connection? What is it about that person that you feel connected to that maybe you don't feel connected to in me? Is it an area in which I feel like I need to heal? And maybe that's something that I'm lacking or not providing or not giving or receiving from you? Or is this like a wounding in you that you feel like you need to be connected to someone else? You know?
Yeah.
So I would be asking a lot of questions. If I really love that person, I had a really honest, open relationship like we have, I would be asking why. What is it?
And can I tell you the beauty of you as an awakened, aligned, whatever. By the way, I even hate using these labels because I'm just trying to say, as someone who energetically is confident in who she is that you wouldn't be attached to my answer. You wouldn't take my answer personally. You would genuinely be asking from a space of what's
going on?
Of growth.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because the way that I feel with you is that, like, both of us, whenever there's an issue, and that's the next question, whenever there's an issue, we utilize that issue to help ourselves as individuals grow into better, more aligned, more awakened human beings. So that means that like I would feel safe if I was that guy. I would feel safe to tell you and to talk to you because I know you're not going to take it personal. I know you genuinely want to know, like, wait, what the hell is going on? And that's love. Love is allowing the truth to come out. So. And then the next question, this is a good one. You ready?
Oh, God.
What is the toughest disagreement y'all, they're from Texas, have worked through and how?
The toughest disagreement. My toughest disagreement with you was the one out there by the garage. Because I felt like we were both so far disconnected from like our self and our truth and like our hearts that it was just a mess. And I feel like when we are connected to our hearts, then communicating and working through disagreement is super easy. When we're not, it's a total mess. Because we're both like bitchy as fuck, let's be honest.
I don't think that's it. I don't think we're bitchy. I don't think that's the right word. I think that we
Wounded.
Are both no, I don't think that's it either. You know what it is? I'm going to give you credit. You are so smart. And I feel like I'm on the same wavelength, obviously. So that our arguments are like a chess game is what they are. When we have them, we legitimately don't have them very often, but it's like, you get to the point where the ego is in full flare and you're trying to win, you know what I'm saying? And you're just trying to win the game to prove that you can win the game. That's what happens. Like we literally have debates over who's the better arguer. I feel like
you absolutely know that it isn't you. That's the thing.
100% it's me.
No.
100%.
No.
I could run circles around you. But you give me a challenge. I will say this.
You absolutely know.
No,
because that you couldn't.
Because I will say this. I say this from the perspective of like, this is why I think it's really important for you to be intellectually in alignment with your partner. Because trust me, like if even in arguments you feel like you're not challenged, that gets to be unattractive. When you are able to see emotional and mental blind spots in your partner and you literally go, okay, if I don't say this, then I know that they're not going to get it. Okay, yeah. Then it's like, it's not, but with you, it's different because it's like we're playing the game. What I will tell you is, how did we get past it? I'm not giving myself credit, but I can remember vividly. I remember thinking, and this is what we teach at the relationship intensives. Someone has to drop in their heart. Someone, it doesn't matter who, someone. And someone has to just, and I remember at that point, I remember thinking like, the thought came to me, someone needs to drop into their heart. And I was like, fuck, because this is getting bad. And I remember just quieting down. And when I no longer gave you someone to argue to or with, you quieted down. And then we both were like, I think we just need to take a deep breath and we both need to just like come back. And you were obviously like disturbed. You were mad. I was mad. But that's the key, guys. The key is eventually someone just needs to drop back into their heart. And there's been many times where it's been you, sometimes it's me, sometimes whatever. But I feel like we're both very present to that, you know? And yeah.
I don't even feel like we have those kind of disagreements anymore.
We don't.
I think we understand each other like just too well now.
Yeah.
It's like I'm not even trying to argue with you anymore. I genuinely feel like I'm not participating in the chess game anymore. Like, and sometimes I feel that's like we try and pull each other into a chess game, but both of us like, no. Like I said, my piece, we're not doing this. We're not doing the whole, like, we're going to go back and forth.
Yeah.
Tell me.
Well, like last night with the phone thing, I think it's a great example of that.
Yeah, I didn't play chess with you.
It wasn't only that you didn't play. No. Hang on a second. I told you, I said, baby, listen, I don't know if you noticed this, but you look at my phone.
Mm-hmm.
And I just realized that it's something that like I never do to you. So I said, I'm just making you aware of it because it could be a pattern from past relationship where you don't feel trust or whatever. And you kind of started to take it a little personal. You got a little, and we both just allowed it to like pass. And it was interesting because later on at night when we had the conversation, which is another episode, it came up that I was operating from the paradigm of a past relationship as well. And you held space for me beautifully to be able to let the paradigm go about what I thought marriage was, which is going to be a good episode. So I think that's the answer. It's like both of us, because you've done the work within yourself, you're able to be like the light, the heart, right? The softness that your partner needs to understand, hang on, I'm here for you. I'm not against you, and vice versa. You like that answer?
Kind of.
I feel like you're looking to see what is your answer?
I'm looking for what?
No, I just feel like this look from you.
It's okay.
No, tell me.
I don't have anything to say.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Cool.
Are we good?
We're good.
Okay. You want to wrap it up?
Thank you guys for watching this week's episode of Finding the One. Next week we will go into when I went to do Aya and I met Selena for the first time, which actually was pre-Aya in a yoga class. It's a really cool story.
Wow.
And we will share what we spoke about of Danny's fears of marriage, the paradigm of marriage.
It was just it's going to be powerful because I have been going through a process within me where I have challenged what marriage is in society. And I feel like we are on the precipice of creating a new, more aligned, more awakened structure for what a union really is. So,
yeah.
You like that word? Huh?
Yeah.
So we'll see you next week. See you then.
Bye.